I'm with Colin, a regular of the Spraybooth hire. What have you got here today for us?
1975 Ford Escort, two-door.
What's the story with this thing? You don't see many on the road anymore.
Most of them have rusted away, I think. This was a one owner from Adelaide. I bought it in from Adelaide, then it went to Berry, and I bought it off the owner that was in Berry, and it was his grandmother's car.
How did you find it? In the trading post or Gumtree?
It was on Marketplace, actually.
Oh, Facebook, good old Facebook Marketplace.
That's right, yeah.
You know, with Facebook Marketplace, you can really scroll and scroll, and some guys have an encyclopedic knowledge of what things are worth. If you spend enough time, you're eventually going to find a bargain, and you might have to travel up to Berry to find something like that. Was that your case? Or?
Yeah, it is. I've travelled even further. I bought one of these from Orange in New South Wales. Yeah.
I've been to Berry before. I think that's where I got my VG hardtop, and I drove all the way there to meet the guy because he wasn't quite sure. I messaged him on Facebook, and he wasn't quite sure that I was actually going to come through with the money, so he requested that I pay him in cash. So I drove all the way up to Berry, gave him the cash, met up with a towie, put it on there, and then came all the way home in one day. I think it was like 14 or 15 hour trip.
Yeah,
round
big
trip.
Drive.
Yeah, big drive. Yeah. Did you do it all in one go?
No,
or?
I stayed the night in Berry and came back the next day.
So that's a smarter way of doing things. So talk us through the bodywork and what you've done.
Well, this was in pretty good condition, actually. This was most of its original paintwork, and it was in really good nick, apart from a few patches here and there. But I left the most of the some of the paintwork, the original paintwork. Roof went back to bare metal because it was going a bit funny, and I didn't want to leave that original paint on there. So bare metal, mudguards, bare metal, but the quarter panels were really good. Boot lid wasn't bad, and the rest of it was pretty good. There was only 2 bits of rust down the quarter panel, and this is a common problem with these. They rust out under this thing, so I removed that.
What is it? What is that thing?
That's the plenum chamber. That's where the air goes in there for the heater.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So and
a lot of leaves collect in there.
Exactly what happens. They go down the vent. They sit down here. There's a drain plug there, but it's almost useless.
Oh, okay.
And rather than weld that back on, I panel bonded it back on, so it's glued on.
Yeah.
And I left the original spot oil marks on to make it like the original.
Colin knows what's going on, right? He's been in the industry for many, many years. Why don't you talk a little bit about your experience and how you've come to be?
I started as a panel beater when I was 15. Did an apprenticeship, worked at a panel shop in Oakley. I stayed there until I started my own business in 1984. I've been in the industry 50 years now. This year just gone, so in 24.
Happy memories of most of them?
It's something I've always wanted to do, and I started when I was 50. When I went in 74, and I've been in the industry for 50 years now, and I'm 66, and I still love doing it.
That's fantastic. Yeah. Well, that's what you want to achieve, you know. Colin's brought some cool cars down. He's brought old school Porsches, you know, all sorts of different things. But, you know, the thing with Colin is he always sort of brings them in, and he's ready to go, you know, he's ready to mark. We're taking up his time now, I know that, but everything's all masked quite nicely, you know, and that's the way you want to be, especially if you want to hire the spray booth, you know, want to come ready to go.
Yeah, my trade's panel beater, but I can paint, but as you
said, he's a good painter, so.
I'm not the greatest at masking. It looks pretty scrappy, but it works. So, you know, most of my trade's been smash repairs and restorations. So.
Yeah, good. All right, we'll leave you be, and we'll check back in a little bit later.
Okay.
Cheers.
All right.
So Colin's come back for the second day. So it's good to split up your parts sometimes. You can see paint on the walls, and sometimes that's because it could be us, it could be me. Sometimes people overload the booth with parts, stress themselves out, and sometimes it's a good idea to split things up, come in the morning, nice and relaxed, just work on a few bits and pieces and get it done. But Colin was telling me yesterday about his experience with running shops, and he's trained a lot of apprentices, and I thought I'd ask the question, when there's a young guy coming on board and he's really eager, how does he sort of find his feet with learning the trade?
Well, the best thing is patience. You've just got to go through the process of learning what to do with painting. I'm not a spray painter, I'm a panel beater, but I've had to know how to paint because I've had my business. But yeah, and the main thing is take your time and make sure everything's done right first before you put the paint on.
So on that note, when you're doing the body work and you put the guide coat on and you're starting to sand in the cross hatch, what are you looking for in terms of finish of the high fill to get it ready for paint?
Well, it all starts from when you put the high fill on, so that the panel's got to be clean and it must be flat and straight before you even start to put the primer on. Once you've got the primer on, blocking it's important with the right grade paper for depending on what colour you're using metallic or solid colours.
So with this particular workpiece here, can you tell me your process to get it to this nice flat glossy finish? What sandpaper did you use when you were shaping it all up? I did the repairs on the metal epoxy primer first, then repairs, but I used 80 grit paper to start with. Then I went down to 120, 180, finished off some of the repairs with 240 and then primed over that. If there was any bare metal epoxy primer, then primer over that again. Then block back the primer, making sure it's flat with a guide coat. So was that 400 grit thereabouts or 600?
600, and then I went over it with 800.
800, yeah, wow.
You can go too fine, it could cause delamination, but that's 800 is probably.
See, I'm a 400 grit kind of guy. Just, he's starting with very coarse sandpaper to really quickly knock down the edges. Then he's talking about re-priming everything and then getting that nice smooth finish. So the application of paint, your favourite gun is?
The Iwata.
The Iwata, 1.2. Ah, okay, 1.2. A lot of people go 1.3, but Colin's a 1.2 kind of guy. And what about your priming gun?
1.4, 1.3, 1.4.
Yeah, okay.
Depends. Yeah.
And then so when you're applying, this one is a solid colour, is that right? It's not clear over base?
No.
Tell me about the application. What do you normally do?
I just give it, usually it's 2 coats, but the first coat I just, a thin coat to start with, then I walk away, come back in 5 minutes, put the second coat on, a double header coat.
Yeah, cool.
On the second coat and leave it.
So that sort of half coat is almost acts like an adhesive.
Yeah, it's a tack coat.
Yeah, exactly right.
Sticky coat, yeah.
I've seen a lot of young and old people come in and they go super heavy on the first coat and then they go, oh no, it's run, what do I do? How do I fix this?
Yeah.
I see it all the time. So, your first coat, call it a drop coat or a half coat or a mist coat, whatever you want to call it, but just go nice and easy with it all. Would you agree?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
You can come unstuck very quick.
And give me a nightmare scenario. What's one job that you remember from way back when, or even recently?
I did a silver Porsche with tram tracks, like lines of where I sprayed on the bonnet.
The silver and some metallics can be quite hard to spray. Even with the XE4 that I sprayed, you know, model and tram tracks. How do you overcome that?
Good question. I think it's a matter of just crossing over where you've been and not get into a certain pattern, you know, just lines up and down. I think if you just haze it over, I think it's the best method.
Yeah, fantastic. Yeah. Well, I've got to thank Colin for coming down. You know, there's some red hot tips from Colin. If you like what you sort of see, just, you know, click that like and subscribe button. I'll see you next time.